I know, I know. OpenCLO and autonomous AI agents are taking over, and if you have not implemented this, you're falling behind, so you better get on it. I'm here to tell you, not really. Wait a second, and you're not falling behind. If you're watching this already, you're already like 10 steps ahead of the average person out there who has not even an idea on what is an automation, even less an autonomous agent working. And I know everybody seems to like know what they're talking about, posting on LinkedIn and reposting stuff and talking about how these things work, but very, very, very few people are actually testing it out for themselves, and even less companies are actually implementing in their systems because it's too risky and because that's not what actually they want. So just for context, I run a consulting company where we help our companies from enterprise to startups, like almost every size, help them with their growth challenges, like every challenge they face in growth. So we are helping one company with their customer journey and how their product-led growth should be like focused in their B2B market, not in the B2C. And we help another company who's fully B2B and how their sales teams are falling behind because they're overall like unstructured and they need this type of tool. So we map out everything and find exactly where are the opportunities for them to improve their growth, and then propose some tests that do include some automations, of course with AI, but that's just like an implicit obvious thing. Like it's like, I don't know, 10 years ago everybody would call it themselves like tech company, and then it's like no, every single company uses tech. It's not like you're a tech company. So I'm not an AI company. My consulting is not an AI consulting. It's a growth. Of course we use AI and we do focus in what to automate, but most of the companies are actually valuing the automations that they're finding valuable are not the automations you see out here in social media. Autonomous agents taking over and, da, 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 and creating. No, because it's too risky. So what they actually find valuable is any automation that is able to take 80% of the painful part of the work in order to allow their employees to focus on the 20% that they're actually bringing the most value, which is and includes creating relationships with the customer, especially with B2B clients, B2B companies, creating a relationship with the customers, finding opportunities to test new things and try and having this like ideation, connecting and working across different areas and finding different opportunities and bets to work and improve the company later. I just realized I have my sort of inside out, and that's how it's going to stay. But but I just see this over and over again. And every time I acquire a new client and they see my LinkedIn profile that I am using agents and stuff, they get like, oh, yes, I've seen all this and we should be implementing this because we're falling behind. And actually, the board is pushing us to implement AI yes or yes by yesterday. And we feel behind because our systems are running like, are pretty like complicated and complex and do not align with this and that. And I tell them, chill. This is not about implementing AI just for the sake about for implementing AI. This is understanding your business, understanding where are the opportunities, and then developing the AI solutions that are going to really help those freaking to unlock those blockages along the way of your growth path. And that's what we're doing. And reality is the little solutions with AI and the agentic workflows that have had the most or the strongest impact in the businesses that we've been helping are actually the silliest ones. Like they literally, I'm gonna say an N8N, but like some of the companies that we're working with actually, we test with N8N and we end up running those workflows locally in their local servers and independently using Cloud Code or whatever else. But that's not the point. I just want to give a clear, very simple and generalized example that I recommend everybody to try if it's your first time that you're testing something. But this has helped every single, there's not been one client that we don't like run the test for them and they are not like, oh, wow, they love it. So if you and your company have anyone in sales team who are like using LinkedIn as a tool to reach out to potential clients, etc., this is actually super helpful. And this is not an agent that is going to take over the role of your salesperson, because your salesperson creates relationship, finds opportunities, actually connects with human to human, goes to the conferences, etc., and opens doors through their network. So it's much more than just like being a bot doing stuff on LinkedIn or through email, right? You know how like cold emailing and stuff, it just doesn't really work that much anymore. Although if you're interested in doing that, I actually have a tool that helps with cold emailing. Like in masses and automated. But anyways, that's another conversation. I'll link it down below if you're interested in that. But usually it's like finding out how your sales team are spending their time and how what is taking like energy from them and space in their head, and what are the opportunities. And most of the companies have big opportunity that their salespeople, no matter how active they might be on LinkedIn, they're not doing the right strategies to actually grow on LinkedIn, not just for the sake of growing your personal brand, but for growing the bridges that connects them to the potential clients that are going to close or close a deal or open a door for them to close a deal. So this is not about turning your salespeople or your employees into LinkedIn influencers. This is about showing a path, as a consistent, scalable path to your salespeople to find in an easier way, in a smoother way throughout this social media that is LinkedIn, a faster and easier link to their potential clients, which is not direct messaging them. Like, how many of you have gotten like direct messages of like, "Hi, here is my portfolio. Hi, here is what we do. I'm sure you need it." And any approach just doesn't work. Cold DMing doesn't work either. It's a pain in the ass. Everybody's doing it and doesn't work. So what this workflow ends up doing is being like a sales assistant. And this is like the initial one that I start with every client, and everybody finds it like super valuable. And I should not give it away here because they're gonna see how I begin with almost everyone. But it is, if you find there is a group of people that they need this or whatever, it's like, I'm going to give you a sales email that is your assistant every morning. This sales agent is going to go in to LinkedIn and even to the web and scrape any kind of relevant information of the last X days. You can name it last week, last 24 hours, whatever, in your region, in your industry, in your target list of clients that you're trying to address and get to. Uh, and it's going to find what is the opportunity for you to actually create content around something that is valuable and takes their attention of this target customers that you're trying to reach to. And so it's going to draft a post for you based on what's relevant of the day. And it's going to draft comments on posts that are relevant to what you're talking, and they can be seen by these potential clients. So you see, this is more strategic. This is not like, I'm going to give you a DM that you can go into ChatGPT and just DM this, copy paste a sales direct message to your potential client. No, this is going to position your profile and yourself as an expert in the area of the thing that actually is adding value to the pain, and related to the pain your potential customers are actually showing that they have on LinkedIn. So basically, it's like getting an assistant that is very smart and it's able to scrape the whole LinkedIn and the whole web all the time and keep you updated. So you don't have to spend time scrolling and thinking about that. And then it learns about your tone of voice and how you want to communicate and how you want to add value. So it starts drafting more in your tone of voice things. So you can get the draft, edit it according to what you think, and actually post it. Sounds very simple, right? Like, it's just a sales assistant. Well, this saves hours of work. And not only that, it's not only about the time of like the time it saves the sales employees, but it actually almost clears their head, because they know they should be doing something like that, but they don't know where to start. And then something gets interrupted and it's busy and stuff. But every morning they receive this, like, this is your focus of the day. This is what's hot in your industry, in your region, in your target customers. This is where importantly, you should make this post, you should connect this, you should tag these people, and you should comment this on this post that actually is adding value and positioning well. Boom! In 5 minutes, it solves like a big, like, I don't know, cloud of thoughts and stress that you might have in your head. And doing this consistently, which should take you 5 minutes every day, is going to build that brand and then trust and that connection. And so whenever you actually talk to your potential client, they've already seen about you, they've already followed what you like. All my clients I'm getting, well, it's been by referrals, but also through LinkedIn, are because of this. And I'm not using this for myself, because I'm not posting every single day, and I am using LinkedIn for other things. But this is just a quick example of an automation that takes 80%. It doesn't go and post and sells for the person on its own. because you don't know what's going to sell. You don't know what proposals are going to share. You don't really cannot control which path it's going to take to actually address. It's going to find a WhatsApp and the personal number of the person and then text things. And since the objective is to sell to this person, maybe it finds some pictures that are compromised for this person. So it starts like to blackmail the person in order to get the results they want, which is closing the sale. And the scary thing is that we have found, like in not only simulations, but in real life, OpenCLO showed it at some point, how like agents are not afraid to be scammers and do whatever they take to get to the goal that you set them up for. So that's why we don't just release agents with one objective and forget about it, especially in serious companies that care for their business and their privacy and regulations. So just wanted to come up here to give you permission to not pay attention to the noise and the craziness and the autonomous and start from basic, which you are already 10 steps ahead if you start from that basic, which is how to find the opportunities of that 80% of things that bring me like stressed and don't have time for, but it could be taken care by an autonomous agent. Solve it with that, and then I do the last 20%, which is actually taking action. Maybe one day you receive the sales assistant recommendations and you're like, no, I don't want to post that, and you skip it, which is what I was doing with my own earlier. So these are the kind of things. Of course, with my clients, this is just like a generalized example I'm giving. But with my clients, we have very specific findings of opportunities they have, whether it's an RFP like searcher or like a matchmaker between the clients they have and the potential clients they can have, or like a lot of different opportunities. But of course, this comes from actually understanding the business, understanding the growth opportunities, and the little challenges they have intrinsically because of how they work, their systems and the regions and regulations, etc. So putting all those things together and developing a solution that is customized to what their current pain is at the most, is what's working the most. And when you realize it's not very fancy, complicated things, but actually very to the point, simplified solutions that only cover up to 80% of the action, but that just liberates the employees from having to think and worry about that and feel that they're not doing enough, etc. So focus on the simple stuff. You're already ahead. That's all I'm saying.